My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. This breakdown is brought to you by Premium Membership. Premium Membership brings you all sorts of betting and fantasy tools to help you make money. Things like exclusive 2, 3, and 4 leg parlays, betting calculators, parlay calculators, daily fantasy ownership projections, fighter salary rankings, and so much more. Check it out now at WeWantPicks.com. Scroll to the top and click Become a Member. And don't forget, we are giving away $50. All you need to do is go to WeWantPicks.com/bets, sign up with any one of our betting partners, make a deposit, and we send you $50 as a thank you. That's WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up, make a deposit, we send you $50. Next up at UFC London, we have Marc Diakiese taking on Damir Hadzovic. Marc Diakiese's 15-5 overall, 3-2 in his last 5, and he's coming off a dominant grappling win. Damir Hadzovic is 14-6 overall, 3-2 in his last 5, coming off a win over Yancy Medeiros last year. So I mentioned it. We have a bunch of fighters on this card, a year removed, 2 years removed, and in some cases even more. Marc Diakiese is a very good kickboxer who's coming off an incredible win over an amazing kickboxer. But what was most impressive about that win was his grappling. Marc Diakiese worked in an incredible 11 takedowns with 12 minutes of control time. Striking-wise, he's got a ton of power, and he sets everything up with leg kicks and body shots. He's a guy who likes to invest early for a payoff in the later rounds, meaning he'll go to the body before he works the head. He's very durable, but he does have holes on the ground. Damir Hadzovic is an okay striker who marches forward, throwing short punches designed to get you against the cage so that he can take you down. If he gets you to the ground, he is a hammer, and he stays busy on top. He's lost to decent guys like Renato Moicano and Christos Gallegos, but his UFC wins do not hold up as well. Every single one of his wins is against somebody who is no longer in the UFC. Marc's last win was very impressive. He showed thoughtful game planning and the discipline to execute. He is a striker at his core, but he was able to stick to a dominant grappling win. And I don't think he's going to need the grappling here, though. There's no, his striking should be that much better. And keep in mind, he lost to Rafael Fiziev, but it was a 29-28 decision. He took a round. He looked okay in that fight, and that win ages better and better every single day. So I think Marc Diakiese wins this fight. I think it's a pretty dominant win for him, and I think I'm going to parlay him with Nathaniel Wood. I think Marc Diakiese is absolutely a parlay piece, and minus 325, while those are big odds, I'm very confident in this guy's ability to win. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you 110% on this fight. I think this should be a world-class performance for Marc. And I'm glad that you mentioned that. I don't think he needs the wrestling. He used the wrestling as his last fight against a world-class striker, and it paid off, right? But if he starts forcing the wrestling in this matchup, I don't want him to do that because you mentioned he should be able to win the striking as well. I think it should be a world-class performance for Marc in this match. If he wants to use the wrestling, save it for the second or third round just in case some weird stuff happens. I don't want him forcing it and getting tired. The guy has a lot more high-level experience. You look at him, he has 5 losses. Those 5 losses are against the top level guys, and as you mentioned, some of them are pretty close losses as well. So I love Marc in this matchup as far as the striking goes. If he wants to mix it in the grappling, that's fine as well, but this should be a tailor-made win for Marc 100%. I don't think there's really not much more to it. He should be win the striking. If he wants to wrestle, he should be able to win that as well. So I think it's a pretty easy matchup.
I completely agree. I will spend the $9,100 on him. He could potentially get a stoppage here. He's a very talented guy. You're agreeing? I see the nodding. Minus 225.
Just to add to that, because Damir, if you watch his last fight, I know that he won that fight versus Yancy, but if you watch the way that Yancy was touching him, if Marc starts striking, if decides to strike and touches him the way that Yancy was touching him, it's going to be issues. He's going to get knocked out.
Yeah, and he's not on a wild knockout streak or anything, Diakiese, but he does have power. He can hang, and he can certainly score some points, so I do like him at $9,100. Minus 325, those are big odds, but that might literally be worth a money line bet. Like that, it's I think that translates to 80-something% of the time you think he wins the fight. And yes, I do. So I may throw a money line bet at those odds, even though they seem wide. And the Monkey Knife Fight strike line, I do think it's another hard line because I think Marc touches up Damir, And while Marc could get a stoppage, he's not necessarily flatlining people left and right. So it may be a more and more. Damir's kind of a tough guy here, but I think the line's closer than it should be. I think Marc lands way more than Damir was. What do you think?
I think it's a less. I think he finds that finish.
Well, if you guys have an idea what to do, go to WeWantPicks.com/MKF. They will instantly match your deposit. If you want $50, I literally will Venmo you $50. All you need to do is go to WeWantPicks.com/bets, sign up with any one of our betting partners, and we'll send you $50 as a thank you.